So I mentioned in the previous video that you can use any properties of the special parallelograms to prove what kind of shape you have, either the sides or the diagonals. So I'll show that again with number 3 on the same page. We can use the sides. We can say, okay, if I know that the opposite sides are parallel, that means it's a parallelogram. And if I have 4 congruent sides, that would mean I have a rhombus. So to tell that the opposite sides are parallel, you just have to look at the slopes. The slope of QP and of RS, in both cases, is going down 7 over 4. That's the slope of negative 7/4. And the slope of RQ and SP is a positive 7/4. These are opposite but not reciprocal. They are not perpendicular to each other, so this is not a rectangle. However, the opposite sides are parallel, so I can say it's a parallelogram. And then I can look at the distance formula, and in all cases, I have a 7 and a 4 involved in my distance formula. It's either going up 7 over 4 or down 7 over 4. So in all cases, when I plug that into my distance formula, I get square root of 7 squared plus 4 squared, which is the square root of 65. So I have 4 congruent sides, and I have a rhombus. But I had to do the distance formula to get that. It's actually easier for this one if you look at the diagonals. In order to show that this is a rhombus for using the diagonals, I just have to show that the diagonals bisect and that they're perpendicular, because that's the property of a rhombus. For this graph, my diagonals are horizontal and vertical, which makes it really easy. So I can look at the point where these cross, and this distance is 4, and so is this distance. This distance is 7, and so is this distance. So these diagonals are bisected. This is congruent to that. This is congruent to that. That means that they are a parallelogram, that this is a parallelogram. In addition, I have a horizontal diagonal and a vertical diagonal, which means that they're perpendicular. So I have perpendicular diagonals, and I have a rectangle. I didn't have to do a single calculation. All I had to do was count.